we're
and
proud.
so we need to do that.
I think we're proud, but we're worried.
Yeah, and that's fair, right? But I think at this point in time, actually what we don't need to be is worried.
We're only one day now from the Donald Trump tariffs. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today's top story here. We got Jagmeet Singh questioned hard about supporting Justin Trudeau, the Liberals, Mark Carney, whoever it may be, before, upwards, and after the throne speech on March 9th. We got Karina Gould running her mouth, insulting Donald Trump, being incredibly pompous and arrogant on live TV. We got more polling data. We got a bunch of stories. Let's jump into this. So first up, we got Sharia Teest here with the latest ECOS poll modeled out. So ECOS is the one with the dirty data that keeps the guy who vowed to do anything possible to not have Pierre Poilievre win the election. As you can see, this doesn't match any other polling data out there. This is ridiculous. No, what's interesting here is this guy, Albanian Pat, says the funniest part is that the PPC are winning 3 seats with this modeled out. And you can see they're mostly down here in southern Manitoba, below Winnipeg riding down here. Yeah, the PPC doesn't have that much support. They don't have any seats. They're not going to be getting any seats this election. A new poll here from Ontario showing Doug Ford will win the election comfortably. His Protect Canada bid seems to be doing the job. We got Jagmeet Singh, this fool, says he joins Poilievre in calling for the Liberals to resume Parliament over U.S. tariff threats. This is another tactic by Jagmeet Singh. He's trying his best to get support here with what little tools and, well, no credibility the guy has. He was questioned today about this.
Parliament is not set to come back until March 24th. It would be very unlikely that between that day and the end of March, the government and your party or any other parties would be able to pass any legislation to help out workers. So again, if Parliament comes back on the 24th and there is no tariff help for workers, you will vote to bring down the government at any available date past March 31st. We'd just like some clarity because your position has been moving on this issue.
Not at all. It's not changed at all. We said I was going to vote against the government when they come back end of March. I'm saying that again today. We absolutely can pass legislation. We've done it in the past. We absolutely could pass legislation if the problem is recalled now. We've got lots of time to get.
Is that right? So if Parliament's in session, they can pass legislation. Good thing we got Einstein on the job here.
Parliament to get this passed. It can be fast tracked. It can be done very quickly. So don't listen to any spin that suggests that we don't have time. We're in January right now. We absolutely have time to pass supports for workers. No question about it. It can be brought in Parliament, passed quickly, even passed through the Senate. Absolutely, it can be done. And it has been done before. We did it during the pandemic. So this is what I want to be very clear on. I'm concerned the Liberals are spinning people, making it seem like they care. But now I'm saying, well, do it then. If you're serious about supporting these workers, let's call Parliament back and get it done.
So this is Jagmeet's push here. He's trying to get support because he's been seeing his numbers dropping off a cliff with Mark Carney as the potential leader of the Liberal Party. So he's desperate, and this is what he's doubling down on. He's doubling down for support of workers, challenging the government to go back and actually put their money where their mouth is. And this is all he's got. But he's being very clear in this interview that he's not going to keep the Liberals in power.
But it does not seem to me that they're serious. It seems to me that is all for show. I want these workers to get support. So I'm calling their bluff. I'm calling the bluff of the Liberals and saying, let's get Parliament back going. Let's get supports in place. Let's make sure these workers know that we've got their back. Let's put in place legislation that supports them, because we will be voting against the government at the end of March. We will be voting against the government at the end of March. Please ask me again, because I'll repeat that again.
So the reason why he's doing that and why he's being so clear about that is because right now he can position himself as a man of the people. He's going against Trudeau. Let's get everyone back to work, pass laws, etc., all that for workers. But what's going to happen here is he's setting himself up. He knows full well Justin Trudeau's not going to recall Parliament. He knows that. Once March 9 comes around and Mark Carney takes the throne from Justin Trudeau, Canada may be in a much more terrible position than it is now because Donald Trump put in tariffs. And then Jagmeet say, okay, fine, I'll help you guys pass a bill to save Canadians. He'll be the savior, but he wants to position it like he didn't want to do that. And then he can reflect back to this press conference and saying, look, I wanted this to be done beforehand. Now I have to help pass this only to save Canadians. I think that's what he's doing here. He's giving himself a position of leverage while trying to protect his back. But this could all be just monkey work in the backgrounds where him and Trudeau and Carney, they're all working out a plan, a deal here. I mean, he's already got his pension essentially now, because if they called election today, after the 36-day run out minimum, he's already got his pension. So he's already locked that in, but he's also greedy. He wants to be prime minister, so he wants to keep getting that big paycheck too. It's not like he can just cash out and just ride into the sunset. He has a basic level pension. He wants a big pension. He is a traitor. He should lose his pension for being a liar. So if Parliament comes back, he'll support Trudeau because Trudeau has not yet resigned. Trudeau stays on. Is that how he sees this unfolding? You never know. I mean, Trudeau's intended to resign. They're doing the Liberal leadership race. He should have to step down and let Carney take over, but he could definitely support Carney and run this dog and pony show all the way until October. What a useless man. He saw the polls. Exactly. He saw those numbers plummeting and he realized he had to do something to combat the falling numbers with Carney coming in. Next up, we got this clip here is David McGuinty talking about the border.
Our recent plan, announced only several months ago, is the largest single investment in Canadian history.
So we don't need to listen to the rest of this. I actually want to point out what Government EXE here has pointed out. As you heard, he said it's the largest plan. Well, look at this. Money to Ukraine, 20 billion. Global event relief money, 32 billion. Money lost by Catherine McKinnon, 93 billion. Where is this? We need a full audit on this. Like, seriously. Money for the border, 1.6 billion over 6 years. The math doesn't add up here. Exactly. Next up, we have quite possibly one of the most smug and arrogant clips you're going to see come from a Liberal. Karina Gould here questioned about if she were Prime Minister, how would she handle the situation with Donald Trump? She would get our country completely obliterated by Trump if she was in power. Listen to this nonsense.
Where do you see the opportunity? I think what Canadians are waiting to hear is what actually is this plan? Saturday's coming fast.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? You know, everything on the table. What does everything mean?
Well, everything on the table means that we have to look at where the United States depends on us most and to say that that is where we're going to have the biggest impact. So whether that is electricity from Ontario, whether it is oil and gas from Alberta.
Would you support turning off the power?
If we have to, then I think that's something that we have to show Americans that we are friends, we are allies, we are.
You're going to shut off the power coming from Ontario's nuclear reactors down into Michigan and have people freeze to death in winter. And you don't think that Donald Trump's not going to roll in the military and absolutely flatten us? Are you kidding me? Our military is a speck compared to theirs. This is the stupidest thing ever. The statements coming out of her mouth are appalling. How does someone like this get into a cabinet position in the government?
Partners, and we don't want to be in this trade dispute. This is something that is coming from them. But if they do go forward, that Canada will come back very, very strong and demonstrate that they actually do rely on us. We should be so proud of who we are as Canadians and recognize that we offer so much to the Americans and they do depend on us.
I think we're proud.
So we need to do that.
I think we're proud, but we're worried.
Yeah, and that's fair, right? But I think at this point in time, actually what we don't need to be is worried, because I know.
That's right. We don't need to be worried because Karina Gould's on the job and she knows how to handle Trump.
That we are smarter and we are better able to handle this than the Americans. And at the same time, what we also need to do is to make sure that we are protecting Canadian jobs and businesses to weather this storm, so that when we eventually win this trade dispute, which we will, because we are smarter and we are better able and better capable to do this, that we have the jobs and the businesses to come back to.
She's got a stupid smug smile on her face when she's saying this. She knows it's complete crap coming out of her mouth. Really? We're smarter than America? That's why we're gonna win? How stupid is this lady? She is absolutely despicable. So she believes that Canadians should hold hands and sing Kumbaya because that's her level of solution. How the F is she in government? We are 40 million people versus a country that's 10 times the population. Like, not only that, like, their military is the best and biggest on planet Earth. You're gonna shut off the power and think we're smarter than them? They'll bring in SWAT teams and commandeer our power plants. And they say Trump is arrogant. This is hard to believe. We can be better than the largest economy in the world. It's not just a tariff war. He asked for the street candy to stop at the borders. Do it and there's no tariffs. They'd rather continue the street candy, I guess. Canada will get pulverized. Gould is absolutely nuts. No country can win a trade war against a country that has $30 trillion GDP. I'm listening for the word border, but so far nothing. This display here is absolutely embarrassing to Canada. Next up, we got the Liberal Party here running an attack ad against Pierre Poilievre. Like, this is just so pathetic. Look at this. They got footage of him throwing an axe. Yeah, cut all that stuff. It's destroying our economy. Imagine thinking this video is a win. Is this a genocide's production? If your government wasn't taking so much in taxes, Canadians could afford things for themselves. These are solutions to the problems you made. Next up, we got a truck smashes through Scarborough storefront during jewelry heist last night. Trudeau's Canada, folks. There's always a jewelry heist. You can see it right there. What is this? What is going on here? Like, our country is just so stupid now. The usual suspects. At this point, they do it for fun, knowing there's no consequences. Video of the incident as it happened. Oh, interesting. So here's these guys having a fun time. Oh, and here comes the vehicle. They probably stole this vehicle, so that doesn't matter to them. This is 20 years in jail for every single one of them. Catch these guys, 20 years in jail. You got to be making fence posts, cleaning out sewers and gutters. You don't get to leave the jail for 20 years. That's it. If I was in charge of the system, that's what I would be doing. What is this? These guys are about to have a rude awakening if they think they're going to keep doing this. Once Poilievre gets in, like, game over, man. What it comes down to is, up until just last year, Mark Miller allowed any person to come in, apply as a student with no background check. And that's why we get all these gangsters who've just flooded in from Pakistan, from India, from Africa, because they know it's easy money here. They've got connections here. They get connected and they're like, okay, bring us the vehicle. They send that off to the port of Montreal, get shipped over to the other side of the world. They make $2,000 or $3,000 for stealing like a $50,000, $60,000 truck. Easy money, because Justin Trudeau's policies don't punish anyone. And then they realize, well, since they don't punish anyone, let's just start robbing the jewelry stores. Check this out, posted by the Toronto Star. Donald Trump is driving a wedge between Canada and the United States. Should we join the EU? So this essentially, I think, is coming from Chrystia Freeland, that nutty plan to fight Donald Trump, where she wanted a coalition with Denmark, the EU, Panama, and Greenland. Like, this is getting out of hand. Like, no, we're not joining the EU. Take a look at this video. We've got a gentleman articulates the Liberals' motives perfectly. I could not say it better myself.
I actually don't know even why we're talking, for there is no one to hear. No one gives a damn, at least the authorities or the occupants of this country. By occupants, I don't mean us citizens who love this country and wants the best for it. I'm talking about the occupiers. It's a shame to think that the government of a nation has become the occupier of that nation. And it's focusing on its own personal agendas rather than what's the best and the fairest and the most democratic way for the benefit of the nation. What is Trudeau doing? What the hell is his right to post 10 senators when his own government is no longer functioning? Is a disaster. It's a losing government. It has destroyed this country, and it doesn't get the vote of confidence if this idiot Jagmeet Singh, the traitor of all times, would not support this traitor government.
If Trudeau appoints those 10 senators, we need to obliterate him. All of us need to be posting stuff, emailing their mailboxes to a point where their mailboxes aren't even functional. There's so many hundreds of thousands of emails going in daily. You can't have a lame duck prime minister making major decisions that will affect Canada.
Who is going to hear what we're saying? Who's going to do something about it legally to get these people to see their day in court? Be investigated in what is their motive, who they're working for. Are they the agents of a foreign nation? Are they the agents of a foreign entity? Which I personally, that's my personal thinking, believe that they are. Otherwise, no one in their right mind who really means well for the nation's well-being would continue this charade of dissolving the parliament to stay in power, not resigning when everything is gone to hell, the economy, the freedom, all the polarities that he has created, all the industries that he has destroyed, stopped our oil and gas and energy industry, stopped freedom of speech, stopped everything that is meaningful to us.
We need to look no further than the World Economic Forum. Here's Mark Carney, the guy who said he has nothing to do with him. Well, turns out Mark holds one of the highest positions in the World Economic Forum. This guy is a foundation board member. And if we take a look, we've got Jagmeet Singh, also a member of the World Economic Forum. Justin Trudeau, also a member of the World Economic Forum. Does it surprise us that the WEF's agenda is to push all this climate nonsense? And they do it with climate hysteria, scaring people, and then implementing draconian policies that hurt the countries and make them rich. Then shuttle that money to different businesses they're connected to, like the CEO of Telesat Lightspeed being good friends with Mark Carney, multi-billion-dollar loan, tax-free loan for 5 years to build fictional satellites that have yet to be seen. Next up, we got this clip here, pretty funny. We've got Blanchette making fun of the Liberal Party.
There's talk today of the government presenting a bailout package for people affected by tariffs, by American tariffs. Would you support the government in the House of Commons if they were to present such a thing?
I see no way I would support any astuce of the government. I suggest, I believe that the intention would be to create a context in which the government would get 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they remain there longer than supposed through hell in terms of parliamentary work. If the Liberals want things to become clear and want to help people, they should simply start the election sooner. Nothing prevents Mr. Carney or Mrs. Freeland, once this person is selected as the leader of the Liberals, to say on March 10th that we are going into election. We have improved the situation by 2 weeks, but I'm not getting into any tricks.
Somehow things are starting to smell a little fishy around here. Is there going to be a May election? So there we have it. Jagmeet Singh trying to make his position clear. He's trying to get some support back and trying to draw that line in the sand. And if he gets pushed over it, well, it wasn't his fault. I don't believe the guy. I think he's going to prop up Trudeau or Carney or whoever. But in the short term, he's really trying to see if he can get some support. I think what's happening here is if Jagmeet does gather some support from this, say there's this miraculous boost, and under Carney it's only 15%, but Jagmeet gets pushed up to 22 or 23 or somewhere around there, then he may actually vote to get the Liberals out of power, because then he wants to try to get that official opposition position. He's holding the cards close to his chest, trying to play the situation to get himself that next big paycheck to stay in power as the leader of the NDP, as well as trying to get that official opposition. It's not going to work. Everyone in Canada already knows who Jagmeet Singh is. He's the man who sold out Canada for his pension. The real question now is what's going to happen on February 1st with Donald Trump and the tariffs.